Hi everyone, welcome back to WHU TV. My name is John, your host as always, and I hope you're doing well as I always do. This is a very unplanned yet slowly scheduled conversation with the live chat. So it's episode 8, I should say, of the weekly live chat. As I said, I wasn't planning to do this. I've said this numerous times over the last few days. I'm not planning to do this, but things have changed. Things have changed today. There's a conversation that's gone out with Sullivan and TalkSport, which of course we need talking about in a minute. But first of all, Nicky from West Ham Fan TV, if you're watching, mate, I hope the surgery's gone well. We're thinking of you. I texted you this morning to say that I hope everything goes okay, and of course I have to say it here as well. So my thoughts with you, Nicky. I hope you're hoping everything's gone all right. So, as always, guys, as I said, unfortunately, I've had a bit of a technical issue today. So the monitor I normally have that's sitting under the camera here isn't properly working. I mean, it is for my work stuff, but it's not properly working for the laptop. So I'm gonna have to look down here a bit. So apologies for that. New cable coming hopefully tomorrow, and that should hopefully sort everything out. Okay, so Let's see who's in the chat first and foremost. Andy Miles, the new left back Patreon starting 11 player. Hello, Andy. Good to see you again, mate. Hope you're all right. I am good and hope you are too. Rick, good evening, mate. Chad, hello. Andy, good to see you back, mate. And the other Andy. Well, hope you're all right. TSC, hope you're good, man. Andy Walsh from who's on Hammers Chat quite a lot, especially as a moderator, wishes Nicky all the best. Richie's just completely keeping with the conversation as always. I like big butts and he can't deny. Good evening, Gazers. Hello, mate. Harrison's back. Hello, mate. Good to see you. TC also hope Nicky's operation is successful. And good evening, Nick yourself. I'm about to say Nicky then myself. But so first and foremost, guys, I want to get your thoughts on the cup game last night. For those of you who don't know, I was finally at the fourth time of trying. I did a live commentary for excuse me, for the cup game last night, and it worked. It uploaded straight to Patreon perfectly properly. So I'm hoping that Rick and Andy, and Wally, if you're watching the replay, I hope you were able to enjoy the commentary. It wasn't the best of ones because it was Hull didn't have a lot of the ball, so it was quite difficult to give a balanced commentary on who was doing what. But really very promising, really promising performance. Feel a little bit sorry for quite sorry for Harrison Ashby, who made his debut at right back last night, but when he wasn't meant to, and the reason being is because, as you guys probably heard halfway through the game, it was confirmed via official sources that David Moyes, Issa Diop, and Josh Cullen all had asymptomatic, granted, but all had symptoms of COVID-19, so they're resting and going to probably be checked in by the end of the week to see how they're getting on. If not, probably being checked next week. So, yeah, a little bit difficult in terms of that, but you know, Elise made his debut at centre back, looked really assured there. Ben Johnson was playing left back. Up until Ashby's injury, unfortunately. Ashby went off in the second half. It looked like he dislocated his finger or something. Something happened in the fall. And Longjello made his debut. Was a little bit shaky to start off with. Completely understandable. You know, he wasn't planning to play by the looks of things. And yeah, so he went in. And it's good. But, you know, as I say, 5-1 in total, you know, a brace from Allaire, a brace from Yarmolenko, and a goal from Snodgrass. Very good game. Nothing to be carried away about, of course, because it is literally just the League Cup. But yeah, I was quite impressed with it. Quite impressed with how the game went. To see what everyone else is saying at the minute. Richie says all the best to Nicky. TSC says fucking beautiful performance last night. Nick says great game. King Allaire needs to start 100%. I've always get him to start. There's news about him which you guys will see for the Wolves preview. Which I think a lot of bollocks myself, but it's been confirmed. Andy says I did see it. So I think it means he didn't see it as I was busy, but sounds like it was quite a good performance. Yeah, it was, man. It was certainly interesting. There was a lot of good points, a lot of good fresh ideas. And I said, up until then, Ashby got that injury, very very reassured right back. When Longjello came on, he went to left back and Johnson went to right back. Still very good. Still very good. Very impressed with Elise. Very impressed with Snodgrass's work rate again. Very impressed with Yarmolenko. Good to see that he got them. He got a good run out. Played pretty much the entire game. Allaire played the entire game. Wilshire started as well and pretty much played the entire game. In fact, I think he did actually play the whole game. So yeah, I'm impressed. There's nothing to be carried away for, because with all due respect to Hull and any Hull fans that are watching this for that matter, it's the League One. Obviously, they're trying to get back to the Championship. I did say that they would be a bit more of a test than Charlton. But Charlton gave us a good run for their money, but Hull were not to the races. They did well for what they were doing. They've got some very good players, but yeah, wasn't 5-1. People saying we were expecting that. Well, I don't think you people genuinely were. I really don't. We're expecting to win comfortably, of course. We're Premier League sides and we're playing a League One side that's trying to get to the Championship. So it should have been an emphatic win, and it was. Good ball possession. Good. Anderson played pretty well. Lanzini played pretty well. I can't think of anybody that really had a bad game. I mean, Anderson was much better in the second half again than he was in the first, but I can't think of anybody really that had a bad game. Balbuena was impressive. It's one of the best performances I've seen him put in for a while. So does he start on Sunday night? You'll find out in the next coming days what I think about it. So where else? Leon, hello buddy, doing all good? Buddy, all good? Yeah, I'm good, mate. I hope you're all right, mate. Richie says, great to see Lanzini getting back to his old ways. That's a conversation for Andy and Richie. Nick says, does anyone know how long Ashby is out for? Haven't seen anything confirmed as yet, but if it is just the dislocation that people are talking about, shouldn't be for very long, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, probably X will talk about it on the podcast tonight, which will go up tomorrow morning. Harrison said, really enjoyed the game and thought the players took it seriously and got the job done well. Yeah, shouldn't have been hard work for it, to be honest with you. Really shouldn't have been hard work. Richie says Ashby was class and bossing the right side. Agreed. Masuaku as well, playing as left wing back. Very good, very good. I think did he? Oh no. Sorry, I'm thinking of the Charlton game. Apologies. There's been so many games recently. It's getting confused. Leon says, "Do you feel the 4 should start?" I think 3 of the 4, definitely 3 of the 4. Allaire and Antonio, 100% have to be starting together. I say there's bullshit around Allaire. I'm not saying it's not true. It's just I just find it unusual. Basically to say the premierinjuries.com is the website that I look up for all the injuries, because they culminate all the details that all the national newspapers get, and they stick them, and therefore they use that as read, because it's from press conferences and post conferences and all that sort of stuff. They basically say that Allaire's got a tight hamstring and is currently being assessed. Bullshit. I don't believe that in any shape or form. You don't get a brace. You don't play 90 minutes with a tight hamstring. There's no sign of that injury whatsoever. But I think Snodgrass. I think Yarmolenko should start. I've been championing that for the last few weeks now. I think Snodgrass should have something decent run out. Maybe see how he and Bone work out on the left and right respectively. Maybe see how Snodgrass plays in the centre of midfield. Maybe Lanzini might get a shot over Fornals. Who knows? You never know. But it's encouraging signs, that's for sure. And of course, we all hope that David Moyes, Issa Diop, and Josh Cullen are just literally just asymptomatic and obviously not suffering with any long-term symptoms. Mark says, evening JP and the Sunshine Crew. Time to put the big guns back in the first team. Agreed, Mark, completely. Hope you're all right, mate. And the other Mark, Slade, even GP, it's been a while. It certainly has, mate. It certainly has. TSC says, who do we play in the next cup? In the next round in the cup, I think he means there. We'll find out tonight. It's we're drawn for either Fleetwood or Everton, and that game kicks off at 7:45. So we'll have to wait and see on that front. One front even. Andy, it was nice to see the front four are all smiles and playing good football. It's not hard against a League One side, mate, but I know what you mean. Good evening, Kent. Hope you're all right, mate. Gary says, evening, did you not scrap my check bag, JP? All right, just for context, guys. Gary was I was watching the Three Hammers podcast that they did live, and Gary was in there saying that he was taking everybody into the shower. So that's where he's coming from that. Nigel Watts, Sullivan's the major owner, so why is he so quiet? Nigel will come on to that in just a minute. Adrian Whitfield says, was the entire squad tested for COVID or just the match day squad for yesterday? The entire squad, and it was also offered to Hull, but they declined. So yeah, and even West Ham, not allegedly, it's been confirmed. Even West Ham actually offered to pay their medical bill to do it, but no, they didn't. They didn't want it. Nick says, it's just me who thinks Johnson's better at left back. I think he's perfectly fine in both positions myself. Let's see what the guys say. Imagine in 5 years' time, a back four of Johnson, Elise, Diop, Baptiste, and Ashby. It could be very, very good. Very encouraging signs. Nigel Watts says, what's the club's actually worth? Not 800 million for the takeover. Realistic offers. Nigel, that's a very good question. I mean, we've all got our own values. The reason why it's alleged that it's 800 million is because that's how much David Gold wants it for. It's a hands-off price tag. If and when they do sell, bearing in mind we've got no assets, we don't even own the training grounds. Apparently, we don't own the stadium. We don't own anything. We only own the squad itself. It's little to no money. That's the thing. But they will ask what they want to ask. Tia says, I really hope we get the chance to smash Millwall. God, really? Can you guys? Tia, I said this last when he said it to us last time. Rhetoric number one for all West Ham fans. Oh, can we get Millwall in the cup? Or would we play down in the Championship? Let's smash Millwall. It was over 100 years ago, guys. Let it go, honestly. Richard says Ashby has been called up to the sweaty socks under 21s team for next month. He should be back by then. As I say, from what it's saying at the minute, it looks like it's a dislocated finger, so he shouldn't be out for too much. And Mark's making a good point here. They inflated the value. I reckon they'd take 500 million and fag off. Yeah, agreed. I reckon that's probably what's gonna happen. Right, of course. Now, so coming round to what broke yesterday, in terms of because obviously we're seeing the coronavirus figures are jumping up all over the place. It's 1,200 more cases reported yesterday. So that's not bad from bearing in mind that a couple of days ago it was like 4,250 new cases. Because at the end of the day, we've talked about it before, guys. If people aren't going to be adhering to the rules, we're only going to get punished, and it's coming again. It's just, I mean, it is what it is without using that stupid saying, but it is, everyone's been pointing out how much of a civil liberty it is that we can't do this, we can't do that. Well, this isn't modern times. All right, this is biological warfare we're currently in at the minute. Just grow a pair, put a face covering on. It's not difficult. It's not hard. Even if you're asthmatic, just take precautions. Simple as that. TSC says, Millwall fans at school still taking the piss out of us. Well, so what? It's school. Shut up, man. Shut up. It's got nothing to do with it. Honestly. But yeah, so, at the end of the day, we're not going to be looking at getting any fans back at all until the end of March at the earliest. So we are not going to be going back to the London Stadium. Sorry, my microphone seems to be playing up quite a fair bit. It's been a bit strange. The computer's been a bit strange the last couple of days. But yeah, as I said, the things are a bit weird, right? Because at the end of the day, all the TV games are going to have to be rescheduled because they have to be broadcast either on BT, Sky, Amazon, BBC, maybe even ITV might weigh in this time. Maybe ITV might weigh in this time to get some football rights. Who knows? But it has to be done. It has to be done until everything gets back to relative normality. We're back to code 4. If we get to code 5, then we're back to spring. We're back to everything's locked down. Can't go back to work. You can't do this. You can't do that. Nothing. You can't. All the pubs will be shut. All the restaurants will be shut. We have to be selfless. And as Andy is saying, too many selfish people around. JP agreed completely. Mark says, I think we can write off the season for the fans. Yeah. Nigel says, any news on Moyes' health? Worried for him and an old codger like me. That'd be very difficult to say at this point, mate, because apparently he's okay. He's just like has to self isolate. Where are we? GWHU, welcome. Always nice to see new faces. I don't know Nigel's been around for a while, but haven't seen him for a while, I should say. Would be good if we played with the front four last night. Wolves on Sunday must have been a confidence boost last night, getting them on the pitch, for fuck's sake. Come on, your minds. Good point. Yep. We were talking about that earlier, but absolutely on then. As he says, turn it off and turn it on again, mate. Mate, you were the one that had to drop out of the live chat, man, because your signal was raring, so don't give me that. Kent says, season tickets we paid in full should get a pass for games if we paid in full, in my opinion. They should be. That's what I'm saying. The club have to help us out, because all games have to be broadcast. They have to be broadcast. It's an FSA regulation that we paid for it. We need to be able to see it. If they don't sort it out, then, to quote David Sullivan a little bit earlier, civil war. Quite frankly, it's not fair. It's not fair on us. We've had to pay money. It doesn't matter how much you paid. If you paid 50 quid, or you paid 400 quid, or 500 quid, 600 quid, it doesn't matter. We're all in the same boat. We're all struggling for cash. Redundancy is looming over everybody's heads. It was looming over my heads a week or so ago. Me and my workmates was leaving over our heads a week or so ago. Fortunately, for the majority of our department, we're okay. But it's just the way it is, unfortunately. Mark says play a front six. would be nice. All right. So now the thing is, right? I did a bit before we come on to the Sullivan conversation. Guys, that we had with TalkSport. I want to make something absolutely clear, right? Because there's an article that Sports Business published on the 12th of August this year, so only within the last few weeks. Moyes has a sore throat from the chairman. Said yes, he did, mate. Agreed. But that's all the symptoms that he's having, as I said. Right, so here we go. Here's the you can read it with me. So you say I'm not fudging it just to cause unrest. But Premier League clubs agree to delay prize money cuts. All right. So you can see here, 12th of August, 2020. All right. The 20 clubs in the English Premier League will receive all of their prize money for the 2019-20 season, having agreed to defer COVID-related rebates to broadcasters and spread them out over future seasons. It has been reported that clubs will have to repay broadcasters, which we talked about in May, June time, roughly £330 million after the season was suspended due to the pandemic and then resumed behind closed doors in June. Which in itself I think is a bit stupid, because all the games were broadcast on telly anyway, so why pay them back? But that's for another time. The club's decision to defer the repayments was taken at last week's annual general meeting of club chairmen and chief executives, because the league continues to negotiate the extent of the rebates with its 55 domestic and international broadcast partners. The Times report. So basically, apart from Amazon Prime, apart from Sky, apart from BT, there's TSN, there's beIN Sports, there's NBC, you name it. As a consequence, clubs will receive the full amount due to them for the 2019-20 season for the first year of a new distribution model over overseas rights, in which a proportion of prize money is based on where the club finishes in the league. So this means top-ranked clubs will reap the greatest benefits, as it always is, of the recently completed 2019-20 season to 2021-22 sales cycles, which delivered a 35% increase in the value of the league's international media rights to £1.457 billion. So that's £1,457 million per season, from £1,079 million per season for the 2016-17 to the 2018-19 cycle. So this increase helped offset the 7.8% decline in domestic rights values as competition between Sky and BT cooled. Yeah, because they got all that sorted out. Overall, cycle-on-cycle growth for the league, including domestic and international media rights, was 8%, from £2.907 billion per season 16-17 to the 18-19 cycle to £3.143 billion per season to the 19-20 to 21-22 cycle. And it just goes on with a few other bits and pieces. Football Finance blog Swiss Ramble estimates the increase will be worth £185 million shared between Premier League clubs, with champions Liverpool receiving £175 million overall for this season, i.e. the season just gone. Last season, 18-19, Liverpool read £150 million as runners-up, while Manchester City received the same sum. Yeah, so sorry guys, but not to join into the rhetoric that everyone's been saying at the minute. Over the last year or so, so that went. Where's all the money gone? Where is all the money? What's happened to it? I reckon roughly each club will be getting about £72.5 million of that each. So so I mean, obviously we have to, once everything's confirmed, I'm sure the Premier League will release it at some point. But I guarantee if it's an increase from every single club, we would be getting probably around about. It won't be as much as last season, because obviously we finished lower the season just gone than the season beforehand. But it's still going to be a lot of money. It's still going to be a good few million. We're probably looking at least over £100 million. So where has that money gone? And because we haven't even spent anything in the transfer window yet. All we've done is, I know technically speaking, that we got the Souček deal that was taken out of this pot for the summer, but it still leaves £80 to £90 million still available for funding. What the fuck? Honestly, what is going on? Where is the money? What's happened to the money? This is the thing. Sullivan's playing the pauper, which we'll come on to in a minute. Yeah, he's playing the absolute pauper. And as a result of it, I know, Baz has done a video. I'm sure the Three Hammers have talked about it. The Dan from West Ham Fan TV's done his video about it as well. Now let's get on to the subject of the matter at hand. All right. David Sullivan talking to TalkSport. Richie says, how do we have no money when we don't have to pay for the running costs of the stadium? We should have more than most clubs. Agreed. Right, let's have a look at it. Mark says, very badly wrong. They've run up massive debts from Pellegrini. Can't help think if you're in a Qatari business, says Nigel Watts, this is the time to buy. Maybe early next year, when lack of revenue gives you a great price. And says, idiot believes anything the club says on the finance. So is it idiot or I don't? I think that means I don't believe anything the club says on the finance, and quite rightly so. As I say, there's a lot more money available than they're making out. But as I said, right, let's talk about David Sullivan going on to TalkSport. It's a 9-minute conversation. It's listenable on Knees Up Mother Brown's YouTube channel. They put the audio link up there, and you can also listen to it on TalkSport as well. It's a little bit edited, because obviously you didn't get to hear this conversation live, but a lot of people. I'm going to say it now, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but this is my opinion. David Sullivan isn't throwing David Moyes under the bus as much as people are making out. He's not putting him in a good light in any shape or form. He's not. He's kind of He is, but he isn't. All right. Let me put it that way. He is, but he isn't, because he's going back. He's contradicting himself on a few things here and there, as he always does. But yeah, I mean, Andy says Hammers United did it too on YouTube. So yeah, I'm making sure everybody's aware of it. And this is why everyone's talking about it tonight. And I'm looking forward to hearing Dave and X's details on this as well. He basically goes on to say one thing first and foremost about this, right? David Sullivan doesn't sound well when he's having this conversation. He either sounds he's pissed, or he doesn't, or he's not well. It's one of the two. It doesn't say he sounds like he's had a stroke or something. It's a bit strange. What is really strange to it is there's only a couple of instances where, I think there's only one instance when David Sullivan referred to Moyes as David Moyes. Every time out through the other, it says he just refers to him as the manager. Hardly refers to him by name, refers to him as the manager. So he's clearly not happy with Moyes himself. I mean, not because at the end of the day, if they were, he'd be saying David this, David that, on David Moyes, this, that, and the other. Do you know what I mean? He's just literally saying the manager. That worries me, because there's obviously some stuff going on behind. He's probably not very happy that Moyes has come out saying, we need 2 or 3 players, but I don't think we got them. We haven't got the money to get them. That's probably what's caused it. Yes, it's bad PR timing from Sullivan to say, literally 24 hours after, not even 24 hours yet since it broke, that Moyes and the 2 other players were tested positive for COVID-19. Not the best of ideas. But listen to the conversation. So you refer to the 3 places you can find it. It's worrying. It's really, really worrying. Right? Because I made some points on here, and these are what I think you guys might want to talk about. If you've already listened to it, guys, by all means, please do put it down in the chat as to what as to your thoughts on it. By all means, please do, because nobody's put a comment in for a good couple of minutes yet. So, and there's 25 people watching. So come on, guys, put your thoughts down. But anyway, in case you haven't listened to it, Sullivan confirms that there are a bid for a number of players to bolster the side. All foreign. Let's just say he says they're all in foreign leagues. Jim White asks him about why about bringing in players because to appease the fans and all this stuff. And Sullivan says wins are more important, which, yes, from one point of view they are, but it kind of brushes over the fact that we're in dire needs of players. But having said that, he said they put in a number of bids from players in Europe or across the world. I think he said one of the 2. He agrees that the squad is unbalanced, which we've been saying for years. Yet we can't afford the players. We can't afford the players that he wants, that Moyes wants. It seems that the budget is only £50 million, because he refers to the fact that if we made 100 million. Yeah, he contradicts himself even saying this. If we had £100 million to spend, £100 million to spend, then you can spend 10% on one player. Well, 100 million, 10% of 100 million, David, is £10 million. Who the hell are you going to buy for £10 million? Yeah. If he'd have said that, if we had 100, if we had £1,000, that's right, £1 billion to spend, then 10% of that is 100 million. So that's two players of Tarkowski's asking price. It's a contradiction there. But it seems to be that we've only got £50 million available. Well, you can do a lot with £50 million if you're looking in the right places. And he also goes on to say that the clubs don't want to sell their best players. Well, yeah. Up until a couple of weeks ago, we didn't want to sell our best players, and then we did. Things change. Money talks, as you know, Dave. Now, I agree with what he says about the fact that we don't have the money to compete with Chelsea. We're not Abramovich. We don't have the bankroll that Man City have. We know that. We're not deluded. We're not sitting there thinking we've got an unlimited pot like on FIFA. We don't think that in any shape or form. But at the same point, it's quite disrespectful on what he's saying, because he's contradicting himself quite a fair bit through this. So that he said I can't go and buy 2 or 3 players that the manager doesn't want. Well, yeah, you've learnt your lesson in that case. And he said, he reiterates again that I can't pick the players, putting down all the players that if any are coming in are all going to be David Moyes' targets, not his. And he said under the previous regime that he had to, and I quote, bully Pellegrini to buy Fabianski and Diop. He also goes on to say that the previous regime didn't buy well. He said that he wanted to stop some of the signings that were coming in, but didn't put his foot down because he has to back the manager. Well, where's he backing the manager now? We've got a week and a half to go, give or take, of the transfer window. Where's he backing him now? Where's the backup? Where's going all out to try and get at least one of those people through the door as early as possible? No. I agree with him that you say that because we haven't got the finances like Chelsea and Man City, that you said that we're not going to pay double the price of what we feel that the player's valued at. I totally respect him for that side of things. Completely respect him for that. We shouldn't be paying over the odds just because that's the price tag. Because again, as I said, the Tarkowski price tag is a hands-off price tag. If you're stupid enough to pay us £50 million, you're welcome to him. That's what it is. This is why we are looking at teams like Burnley thinking we're a bigger team than them. No, we're not. It's been very heavily publicised in the British press that we're strapped for cash. Of course, Burnley are going to put a whacking great price tag on his head. Why wouldn't they? Why would they not do it? Why would they not do it? Because they don't want to sell him. I mean, as I say, Sullivan is happy to pay a little bit more than they originally priced him at. Fine, but if you're not going to make an inquiry and say, look, we'll pay you 20 million. No, it's 50 million. Then don't pursue it. Don't go. All right. Well, what about 25 million? No, it's 50. All right. What about 30 million? No, it's 50. What about 35 million? No. Do you know what I mean? If the club isn't trying to haggle with you, for lack of a better way of putting it, don't bother. Really, really don't bother. And he also comes out with saying that we try our best. Yeah, I'm sure you do, but your best isn't good enough, David. As simple as that. Your best isn't good enough. If you can't sustain the football club that you bought, sell it as quickly as possible to somebody that will be able to sustain it long term, because you can't. There's no plan at all from West Ham to do anything. There really isn't. And he also says that each day passes when they don't bring in players, and they can't bring in the signings that they want. He gets more depressed. How the fuck do you think we feel? We've got to sit through all this bullshit. He's completely out of his league. This interview by TalkSport was only backfired for him again. It just shows you how out of touch he is again. I would love to talk to him face to face. Yeah, well, obviously that's not possible at these times, but even have a Skype call with him. You know, even interview him for the channel. I wouldn't do it live, wouldn't risk it. I just want to have a proper conversation with him. Talk to him to say why the situations have gone wrong. Don't fucking throw Pellegrini under the bus in the way that he did, blaming him for this, that, and the other. Don't blame him for that. This is why we can't get decent managers in, because he'll if it doesn't work, it's Pellegrini's signings. Sorry, but no, I don't agree with him in any shape or form. And no racial conversations, please. You've been blocked. You know, this is the thing. 400 million, you said, JB. But yeah, so we want right 40 million quid on one player. So it's 10%. That's still not enough to buy the target that David Moyes wants. So, therefore, they're not negotiating. Sit back down. See what you guys are talking about. Mark says, I've not heard it yet. Don't want to ruin my day listening to that twat. GSBOUT. Hello, Tone. Sullivan's full of lies. It's all dribble. He tries to fool everyone. Yep, and therefore he fools no one. Kent says, do you think Mr. Sullivan was blaming us for Pellegrini's appointment and the director of football? Thank you, Kent. I forgot about that. Yeah, yes, he is. Now he said that the fans putting him under pressure to bring in a director of football and a top level manager. When exactly did that happen? When was it a sneaky Clout and Hugh poll? I mean, I remember a poll going up saying, out of these targets, which one would you prefer? Was that us saying to Sullivan directly that we wanted a big time manager? I remember a lot of people voted for Benitez over Pellegrini, if I remember right. Just like the way that we voted for the change in the West Ham badge, and they went with their own version. Again, people putting up ideas on Twitter, getting the polls in about who liked what. Well, that didn't come from the club. We were never consulted on what manager we wanted, but that's why he said we wanted the top level manager. That it would be nice. We wouldn't expect it, but it would be nice. And he said, but it didn't work. No, it doesn't work. But David, the whole point of being an adult and being a human being is being right. It didn't work. Why didn't it work? Not it didn't work, therefore I'm not doing it again. I'm going to go back to the old model, which screws the system up even worse. And it says, what pissed me off the most was how he said we have to pay 50k to go to the game, to go to the cup game next week. That should be money aside for that anyway. And also saying we are not now targeting players at any age. Yeah, it's because David Moyes wants players that are going to improve the squad, and he doesn't want squad players. You know, he wants to improve the team, I should say. He doesn't want squad players. That's what we want. We want We want to do what we want to do what Everton did before they appointed their current manager. We want to get rid of the shit players, which was originally the plan. Nobody wanted them, and bring in decent players. You have to adapt. And he says, Sullivan is full of himself. It just annoys me to listen to him and his bullshit. Agreed. Join the club, sunshine. Has Sullivan ever said he's got anything wrong himself? No. Well, he kind of admitted the fact that it didn't go to plan under Pellegrini, but he's not said, no, I screwed up. Yeah, so we've already talked about that. Mark says, it's not stopping anyone from buying players. Agreed. well, that's it though. If you didn't think we could be up there with City, why lie to us and say we can get Champions League within 5 years? End of the day, he didn't want to invest serious money. Agreed. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, you even look at you look at look at Villa, finished lower than us. Brought players in. None of the fans were calling for Pellegrini, and Huselos came out of the blue and rumoured to have been agreed at Christmas, I seem to remember. Yeah, it was around about January time, if I remember right. TSC, the person's been blocked, the WHU account. George says, further undermining the manager, agreed. And he said, I totally agree with you, JP, it's all bullshit. Yep. Tone says, I don't get why he wants centre backs over full backs unless it's because he wants to play 5 at the back. Well, we do need to sort the defence out, mate. Which is so. I get the reasons why. As I said, Balbuena has been up until Tuesday night has been quite shaky. Even against Charlton, he looked pretty shaky. Diop's been better, but he's still looking shaky. So I can understand why Moyes is going that way. Troy says the Weasel basically blames everyone else for all failures so far. Agreed. Troy says he wanted Belisa. I would love an ex-player as a director of football. I don't blame you, mate. That would be quite a good idea. Jordan says I wanted Big Sam back. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't say no to that either, man. Andy and I were talking about Allardyce football on Monday night. Ant-Man, Moyes, Diop and Cullen. Yeah, we've already discussed that. Kent says Pellegrini had 2 good months at a club. After 3 games, I called him a dinosaur and tactically inept. Yeah, spot on, man. Spot on. Hello, Dave. Good to see you, mate. Trash is moaning about £50,000 when players are over twice that per week. Small time midget. Yeah, he's just making excuses, mate, as he always does. James Gooden says, all right, John, I'm doing well, mate. Hope you're doing all right. I'm not reading that. It makes no sense. Richie says, how can he say he don't get players, but if a player plays well, he comes out and takes credit for getting them? Agreed. Yeah, I'm saying it's contradictions. Dave says Brady out. Troy says no Nigel. Charlton took the tests and passed. And he says, do you think they are asset stripping, knowing they are going to sell? Mate, they've stripped everything. They stripped everything. There's nothing left. There was nothing left. Nigel says, should we be investing in COVID-19 tests in the lower leagues? 100%, completely. You look at the Leighton Spurs game was put off because they didn't. Leighton Orient didn't have enough players to substitute for the players that were tested positive. It's a real It's a real shame. Can I ask if fans could have gone to Everton or Fleetwood would cost us a few £100 for a away day. The 50k next week is less in equivalent to what we would pay to go to every away game we could go to. Yeah, agreed, completely, mate, 100%. Again, he's just making excuses for it. That's all he's doing. That's all he cares about. That's all he cares about. Tony says, has he really had enough of the club yet? I hear rumours he has. So, if so, he has. If so, can we get him out within the year? Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. As we've said numerous times, mate. I know you haven't been around for the last few weeks, but I've said it on previous times when we talk about it. And again, when Andy and I were Andy and I were talking. It was Andy Miles. We were talking about that the other day. It takes months, if not at least a year, to get for bid to be a takeover to be fully completed. It's way too complicated. Troy says the clubs have to pay the test themselves, and the lower leagues can't afford to do so. Yep. Dave said that they have time to sell Rice, mate. That won't be invested. Have to wait and see. That will be civil war. The clubs have to pay for them. James says, agreed, Ken. It's disgusting. They are moaning about it. If they can't afford 50 grand, you can't afford to run a Premier League club. Agreed. I mean, all it is just it's private stuff. But was it trains or whatever, planes and trains, all that bollocks? That's all he was talking about. And he says, "What beer have you got? I may have one now." It's Brothers Toffee Apple Cider, so it's not beer, mate. And the other Andy's just asked the same question, so I just answered that. good minds think alike, Andy. Yeah. So as I said, guys, the Leicester Arsenal game. The Fleetwood Everton game is potentially the next round in the cup. So the team sheet will probably be out in the next few minutes. But yeah, as I say, that's all that I wanted to talk about, and we've been able to go for the 45 minutes. There's not been really that much more to talk about than over the last few days. It's literally just been 24 or 36 hours, really. Jordan says Rice will go in now before the window closes. I bloody hope not, mate. That's all hell will break loose if that happens. Troge says Sullivan is always talking about money. Doesn't understand what a cut run wouldn't do to fans. He's out of touch completely. He's out of touch with absolutely everything, mate. Absolutely everything, and that's what worries me. Is the fact that all he can see is how much it's costing them. I mean, I get it. There was something that Sam Inkersole put up the other day about how much teams clubs lose from match day income, and apparently for West Ham it's 27.23 something grand, 27,233,000 something. So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, guys, is there anything you guys want to talk about? I mean, we're 13 minutes away from the full hour, so we might as well go for the extra time. If there's anything you want to talk about it, Andy Miles, did you listen to the commentary? If you did, let us know. Let us know what you think about it. Rick, if you're still here, did you listen to it? And if so, let us know. It wasn't the best, as I said, but it was good fun doing it nonetheless. It was good fun doing it. But yeah, as I said, guys, there's the preview will be recorded tomorrow. I'm going to actually do it as a live stream, but I won't be taking any comments. We're going to live stream it straight to straight through to Patreon. And then once because at the end of the day, guys, that's all I'm doing. I'm just sitting there talking to a camera. There's other stuff that is pre-recorded, so I can literally just link it in all the time, and it should be fine. So it will be done as a live stream. It'd be interesting to try and do it that way. Hopefully I can get it done. So that will be going up live tomorrow. That will be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock exclusively for Patreons, and of course that will be going up. That will be going up on Friday evening at 7 o'clock for everybody else. Andy Walsh says about the drinks, it sounds nice. It is really nice, man. It is very, very nice. If you're not if you're not diabetic, I absolutely recommend it. Really do recommend it. TSC asks, mint or bubblegum ice cream? Never had bubblegum ice cream. That sounds revolting. So it's going to be mint for me, mate. Trey says find it quite amusing that Sullivan's poking the fire. Agreed. James says wasn't here for the start today. Did you discuss if it will be Moyes picking the team at the weekend, and if we win those two games, what happens to him? We haven't, James, because we don't really talk about the upcoming games in the weekly chats. But as far as I know, Moyes is self-isolating, but I've got a funny feeling he'll be picking the side himself, as he did for the cup game. Rick says the squad conversation, the commentary was good. Thank you, mate. I say, James, I don't know what's going to happen if you win the other games. Other than the fact that he will still keep his job, and then we'll start picking up points in the table. I mean, apart from that, who knows? James, just to clarify, mate, can you confirm your grounds for asking that second question, so I can get an idea of why you're asking about winning rather than losing the games? Andy says West Ham are like a person on benefits but run a Bugatti Veyron as a family car. 100%. Lee says, come on your eyes. Thank you, mate. Adrian Whitfield asks, will Irvin do a redknapp? I doubt it, man. I really doubt it. He seems like a good bloke. And he says, yes, I did, mate. Loved it. I watched the game with the family, but I had it on today while I was working. And you did remind me of a couple of bits I missed and good info on some of the young players. Really? I don't remember saying any good information on the players, but thanks, mate. Much appreciated. At the end of the day, I'm going to try and practice it more and more. But yeah, thank you for that. That means a lot. Both of you two have liked it, so that gives me more incentive to go. Richard says I had apple and passion fruit cider the other day. Fucking lovely. Does sound good. Does sound fruit. Apple and passion fruit. Tone says, who will go for it more in the League Cup, West Ham or Everton? Well, if form's anything to go by, if league form's anything to go by, I think we're probably going to try and go for a push. But yeah. So as I said, guys, it's going to be the preview is going to be recorded live tomorrow night. It's just easier. It's quicker. It's quicker for me to do. I can upload it, and literally shoot it. I mean, all the notes are made. Hopefully, I'll get the new cable so I can use my monitor again in time. But yeah, it'd be interesting. As I've never done I've done a live preview before. You know, some of you guys that have been around watching for a little while. I've done a live preview, but I've never done it incorporating the intro video, the starting 11 video, and also the outro video. I've never actually incorporated all three together in one go, so with doing it live, so that'll be interesting. So hopefully should be good. Troy says, our youth looks great though. I want to see Udabenko next. Got to be. Oh, that's the kid we bought from Man City, isn't it? Apparently he's ripping it up at the minute. James says, I just feel like if we win, Sullivan will sack Moyes and use him as a scapegoat for the transfer window. Of course he will, mate. Of course he will. That's a real shame. But yeah, he'll use anything as a scapegoat. That's the thing. And he says, what I mean is, I didn't know the players' names. Ah, okay, yeah, neither did I. I didn't even know what the initials stood for their names. TSC says, what's your favourite shoe design? Call me an old mod, but I do like bowling shoes. I like how bowling shoes look. They look really cool because they're different. That's all. They're different. Nigel says, do you think we will get confidence from the EFL, i.e. be better in the Prem? I hope he will. I hope they will. I really hope he will be, because the I generally hope that he will, because at the end of the day, he needs something to boost his confidence, and getting four goals in 2 games, that'll do it. That'll do, regardless of, even if he's doing it in training, it'll boost his confidence. Troy says Adidas, Giselles, yeah, they're good, but they're not shoes, mate. They're trainers. And he says, James, but who would come in to work under these owners? Totally agree. Andy Miles says the Everton game is really tasty. So just as context now, Fulham are 2-0 up over Sheffield Wednesday, and Burnley are 1-0 up over Millwall. Stoke are 1-0 up over Gillingham, and Newcastle are 1-0 up over Morecambe. So that'd be interesting. Drocious, Man United he came from. Yeah, did I say City? Apologies, but yeah, he was Man United. Everton are blue. Well, no shit. Man United came from, and they want to keep him. Of course, he looks a talent. He looks an absolute talent. And he says Sullivan is Captain Teflon non-stick. Troy says Sullivan is one of those non-stick pans that are ruined after you use them once. Completely agreed. James says Andy Walsh. I'll let you two have that bit of a conversation. Richie says need to play Yarmolenko and Lanzini with Allaire, and he will score goals. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. You know, as we mentioned earlier, mate. We'd have a bit of. There's definitely a head, and Gonzo, what were you saying this morning on in his video that he shot last night? It went up this morning. It's gonna be absolutely right, completely right. Bowen, Fornals, even Creswell. must be looking over their shoulder after the cup game performances. They must be, absolutely must be. I think the only player that doesn't, the only players, I should say, that aren't looking over their shoulders are Antonio, Allaire, Ogbonna, Rice. I think even Noble might be looking over his shoulder this season. If we put out a decent performance over whichever Fleetwood Town or Everton game we play in the coming weeks, that'd be interesting. That would be very, very interesting. TSC says Snoddy needs to start. Completely agree. James says, but on a positive note, how good was Ashby? Yeah, we talked about it at the start of it, mate. I hope even if Everton in the next round we will play him. If he's in finger injury is all right, I'm sure he will. Tone says, I'd have Snodgrass over Fornells at the moment. Same work rate and pace, but Snogs Snods gets more assists than goals. To completely agree. Andy says, I really love how good Sinclair has been talking about our situation on TalkSport. Yeah, he's the only one that isn't arse-licking Sullivan. I mean, was it the Jordan guy? But I don't listen to TalkSport at all. I don't like to give those guys any exposure at all. TSC says Rice looks hot with his beard. Not going to lie. Fair enough. I'll take you. Fulham are now two. No, it's still the same scores there. So right, so let's just have a look at the team sheet for Fleetwood and Everton. Not that it's going to make much of a difference, but so for Everton, players that we will know about is Pickford in goal, Kenny, Keane, Digne, Nikon Caillou, I think you pronounce that, Sigurdsson, Delph, Bernard, Iwobi, Calvert-Lewin, and Richarlison's. On the bench for them is Walcott, Decore, Coleman, Gordon, Davis, Keane, and Losel. Not bad. That's the other thing I think we didn't talk about. We mentioned a little bit on the commentary, but didn't talk about the start of this. Interesting to see that our former Hammers, Reece Burke and Martin Samuelson were in the side last night for Hull, yet didn't feature. Interesting. Troy says Allaire and Yarmolenko up top, Antonio at left wing, Bowen right wing, and Snods needs to be on the bench. It's something I would like to try once. At the end of the day, mate, we need to experiment at the start of the season rather than the end. So then Allaire and Yarmolenko might get away with not pressing as much. Well, they have to press. I know why you're saying that, mate, but they have to press as much as possible. They pressed all the time in the cup games, and that's where we got the goals. Andy says Trevor spoke again on Talkshite today after the Sullivan interview. Didn't hear it. I'll have to try and see what he says if that's been allowed up. And Jordan quite rightly says his TalkSport was all adverts. Yeah, they're owned by Sky. Otherwise, Jim White wouldn't be working there. So yeah. But in the meantime, guys, thanks very, very much for your time. As I said, the YouTube access will be for the preview will be up on Friday evening. For the Patreons, we'll be talking about them live itself on Thursday evening. Sunday, hopefully we'll be able to do a watch along for the game on Sunday. But that's it. I really hope nothing else, because I want an evening to myself. I wasn't planning, as you guys know, I wasn't planning to do this last week. Wasn't planning to do this at all this week, I should say. Really wasn't planned. But stuff's happened that has to be talked about. But in the meantime, guys, thank you very, very much for your time. If you're new to the channel, welcome. By all means, please do hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying what I'm doing. Check out the Patreon account as well. As I said, there's exclusive content going up there as well. I say exclusive content for the commentary of the cup game and 24 hours access prior to the previews going live on YouTube. There we go. Just take a couple more before we disappear. Nigel says, will the COVID exclusions have an effect on against Wolves? What exclusions? Mark, thank you, JP, for great show. Thank you very much. Troy says, Haller and Yarmolenko both over 6'2" and lumps. They just can't accelerate quick enough to press. Agreed. Mark says, everybody move to Clout and Blue Army TV. Appreciate you doing it this week, mate. Take care, everyone. Yeah, agreed, totally. Blah blah blah. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you to all for your positive words. But as always, guys, look after yourselves, stay safe, and I will see you Sunday. Well, tomorrow. Well, Friday. Well, depends on where you're watching. But anyway, guys, take care.